how to select a research topic. Okay, so these are the outlines of this presentation, which consist the how to do background of study, how to do review literature, how to identify the problem, then how to select a tool analysis and the basic requirements, which is of our software requirements or the hardware requirements in terms of if you are doing some IoT type of projects or embedded system type of projects. Then mathematical model. So whatever project we are going to be developed, okay, so it is having some kind of mathematical model or not. Okay, so it is an optional part. Then which algorithm you are going to be used. Okay, then scalable technique or a method, because same applications or same software or same project can be developed in different programming language also, or different techniques also. So which one is better for your purpose, so that's we need to check. Then model implementation, how to implement model wise. Okay, because each project is divided into the sub part. Okay, and one each sub part will be called as a model. So one by one we are going to implement the model, and then we will integrate these things to in combine of project. And finally the debug system and the conclusion. So debug system is nothing but your project is now live or it is using by the user, and at some time if user will face some kind of issues, okay, or some kind of errors, okay, so how to solve that errors. Okay, so before starting this project, okay, you have to ask this question to yourself, that is W5HH. It means when, what, why, where, which, how, however. Okay, so these are the basic questionnaires you have to ask yourself before starting your project. The very first is why anyone is taking interest in your project. Okay, so if no one is taking interest in project, there is no use of your project. Okay, so it is very important that if you are building any project or if you are uh, creating any project, it must be useful. Okay, at least you have to set some target audience, for them you are trying to do this project. Okay, second question, what is the need and innovative in the project. Okay, if there is no need of your project, so no one will use it. So just like if there are several social media applications are available. Okay, so if you are trying to do the same without any kind of innovation, so no one will use, because there are already several applications and several projects are available in the market. Third, where this project is applicable. It means the domain which is of a particular specific group of people or group of company or group of users, like this. When this project will be outdated. So this is again very key point of your project, is up to what extent you are looking forward to your project. Okay, so like the likewise, if there is one application like a internet banking. Okay, but right now the internet banking is totally switch over to the Google Pay or Phone Pay or other kind of money transfer application. Okay, so you have to think that my project will be outdated up to uh, 5 years after or 10 years after, like this. Okay, next, which platform need to choose. As I told you that one single project or any project can be developed in different programming languages also. So out of that, which one is suitable for your project. Okay, so that platform is also very important. Next, how project is beneficial to the society. Okay, so if your project is not beneficial to the society, so no one will take interest in it. Okay, because there is no targeted audience. And finally, however, new things can be integrated. We know that every application, every software is getting updated every time with some kind of new things which going to added. Okay, and that will be benefited to the society also, that will be used by the user. Okay, like this way. So these are the basic questionnaires you have to ask yourself before starting your project. Okay, next, how to choose domain for projects. It is again very important. There are several domains where you can start your project development. Very first is if it is innovative, that such kind of application or software, or we can say the project is not ready or is not available right now. Okay, so you can provide that solution to the people. Secondly, it must be have some social relevance. So if it is social relevance, then only people will take interest in your project and they can use it. Then novel approach, it means it is a very new thing, okay, which is that similar kind of application is not present right now, okay, and you are providing solution to that. Then systematic, it means your application must be executed systematically. Okay, it means starting from your, for example, login, then or registration, then login, then your another components and another execution modules of that project, like this. Then controlled means every component, every we can say the functionality, it must be controlled. Then rigorous and valid and verifiable. Valid means if you entered some 2 plus 2, so the output must be the 4. If it is 5, then it is wrong. It means there is no error in the program or project, but it gives me the wrong output. So that must be valid and verifiable. Whatever input you are giving to the project and whatever output you are expecting from that. Okay. Then what are the different research domain you can choose for your project development? So I have listed some domains over here. So first one is your IoT. So you can create the application with the help of some Arduino board or Raspberry Pi kit, and you can create some applications. Then embedded means purely you can create one circuitry, okay, circuitry projects. Then machine learning, artificial intelligence means the predicting some futures. Then big data, if you are handling some kind of big data application or big data information. Then data analytics uh, projects, then networking projects, then security related projects, then simple application, we called it as a web application. Then Android applications, so mobile applications you can do. Then final console or remote applications, so where there is no GUI, but you can create the application for making connectivity between the two systems, and you can access the remote system from there. Then avoid project types, so these are again list where you have to avoid such kind of projects. So first one is your management system. So whenever we think about this management system word, it is a very huge domain. Okay, there are multiple operations are there which we cannot count in count on fingers. Okay, the because just like your student management system, library management system, inventory management system, and like this. Okay, reservation system, okay, like this. These are very static projects, and people are not expecting same similar or basic projects. Then standalone application, if you are using some standalone application, it means only one system can be execute that project. Okay. Then web application, if you are not using any kind of algorithms to it, so there is no use of web application. Web application is just only navigating from one page to another page, or you are just giving hyperlinks to external resources, and you are just adding the details and displaying the details and storing the details in database, like this. Then existing recreate application, it means the already the similar kind of application is available in the market, and you are doing the same thing. Okay. Okay, just like Facebook or chatbot is already present, and you are doing the same thing again, so which is you have to avoid. Then similar type of application, similar type of means the Facebook type of application is already available for chatting, or reservation of any ticket application is already available, and you are trying to do the same project again. So you have to avoid this type of project again. This is how you can start your project flow. Okay, so this is a basically chart of a yearly project, but for mini project we can keep it in terms of weeks. Okay, So in first week you have to go with the background study. Okay, what is the background study of the domain? Okay, domain, not the topic. First you have to finalize the topic domain from here. Okay, on which domain you want to start your work, that is in IoT, in embedded, machine learning, or what else. Okay, in between you have to find out some background study. Okay, means you have to read and refer around some one problem. Okay, refer some papers. Okay, and that on that papers you will find out that okay, in this domain I can contribute myself, okay, in terms of project. Fine. So in background study you have to think in IoT. Okay, I can perform the project on IoT for providing some kind of automation in agriculture sector, in security sectors, or in industrial sectors like this. And once you finalize the background, after that you have to do the review literature. So this review literature is again very important, because from here itself you will find out where actually the problem is occurred. Okay, it means, for example, in IoT you find out that okay, the home automation or irrigation system can be the problem. Fine. So you have to download around 10, 15 to 20 papers, okay, basically. So you can go further also, but minimum it is expected to have around 20 papers you can download and read that papers. And for paper also you must refer only good journals or Scopus index journals. Okay, like your IEEE, then Springers, Elsewhere, ACM, or SCI index. Okay, or Thomas Reuters. So these are, we can say, the topmost, and they publish very strong research papers. So you have to download that papers on that particular domain. Okay, and then you have to read each and every papers and find out what that authors did work. Okay, there is one another point in review literature is right now whatever year is going on. For example, there is a 2021, so you have to download and refer the paper which is nearer to 2021, like the recent 3 years. So that 18, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. So at max you can go up to 4 years back, and you can see that how many researchers have already proposed their work on that domain. Okay, because if you go with the 1990, 2000, 2010, 2015 of paper, so there is a very big research gap. Okay, so for to fill that research gap you must have the latest work with you. Okay, so because throughout the globe everyone might be getting this idea in their mind, and they did something in terms of project. Okay, so that information you will get from the recent 3 years. Okay, once you finalized your review, okay, from that 20 papers which are from recent 3 years, you will find out that one specific problems you can identify. And how it is identified? Because every research paper is having some kind of limitation. Okay, and that limitation you can point out, and you can think that can I provide solution to that point or not. Okay, and that will be your problem specification, that for what problem you are going to solve this issue. For example, in IoT I have told one example that for agriculture system I want some smart irrigation. Okay, so for smart irrigation I know that there must be requirement of hardware, there must be requirement of sensors. Okay, then network connectivity also there. Okay, then automation is also there. Okay, so how to solve that problem? Because at every point there might be a problem, like the connectivity issue, network issue, then connectivity between the hardware and the network. Then if what if the sensor get we can say burn out or not working properly. Okay, so every point you have the scope of improvisation. So that will be, you will get this information from this review literature, and then you can finalize the scope, problem specification, and the scope of your project. Okay, that I have provided the solution for this part only. Okay, and next step is your tool analysis and the requirement. Once you finalize the problem, the next step is you have to find out the tool analysis, for which which tool I can use to provide solution for this problem. Okay, and then requirement, then your software requirement, then hardware requirement. Okay, what is the minimum requirement is required for this problem, okay, to provide solution to this problem, like this. And after that, the algorithm selection. Because why algorithm is important in any project, the automation and handling of your operation is easy with the help of algorithm, instead of if you are creating some standard coding. Okay, if you are adding some line of code, instead of that, if you develop and create some algorithm, okay, or implement some algorithm, so that will be beneficial, because it gives you the automaticity for your project. Okay, you can also propose your own algorithm, we call it as a custom algorithm. Okay, once you finalize your algorithm and selection of particular algorithm, you can select the scalable method. So as I already told, the scalable method or a technique is that one problem can be solved by many methods. Okay, out of that, which method can I choose? Okay, just like if I want to travel from one place to another place, there are different modes. I can walk through over there, or I can take my own vehicle, or I can take a taxi, I can take a bus, like this. So which one is more flexible and which gives you the better output, you can choose that particular method and technique. Okay, because this is again very important. And finally, the model implementation. Once you finalize your method, that which method you are going to choose to implement this project, you can implement your module implementation. So your project is get divided into the several part, and that one by one you have to implement your model. It means, first, for example, in IoT case, okay, what you required first, you required a circuitry of your project, then connectivity of your project with the hardware, then implementation of your hardware in area, okay, and then the coding for handling all the sensors, okay, which send some data to the database. You can store that information to the cloud or your local system, then you can perform the operation or machine learning operation on that data. So you can do n number of things. So you have to split out your projects in terms of models, and then one by one model you have to implement it. Okay, and after that, the debug system, we called it generally the testing of your model, but the debug system is nothing but your model is giving the answer. Okay, it is giving the output, but whether that output is really genuine or not, it is a valid output or not. So as I told you, the 2 plus 2, I am getting the output 5, but we know 2 plus 2 is a 4, but my program is not giving, or my project is not giving me the output 4, it is giving me the 5, but there is no error, but there is a something mistakes. Okay, so that is nothing but your debug system. It is again you need to check the validation of every inputs, validation of every outputs, validation of every connections. Okay, and that will be your debug system and will give the accurate result. Okay, and at the end, how your project idea will get the recognition. Okay, if, because once we start with the background study, means the to selection of topic to getting some recognition from authorities, okay, which is of either government authority or any private sector authorities or what. Okay, so once you receive your idea, okay, in terms of your patent publication, in terms of your research paper in a good international journal or conference, or if you received some kind of copyright to your work, okay, so at the end we can say that yes, we received some recognition for our project. It means it is a new thing, it is an innovative thing. So this is a flow of your project, how to start your project and how to end your project, like this. Okay, now we will start with each and every points that we have just discussed right now, from background study, review literature, all these things. So I have already discussed you. So first, background of study, which identify the problem. You can see here, uh, the first is your identifying the problem, then you can define the problem, which problem you want to highlight and provide the solution, then explore that problem, whether is any other author has already proposed their work or not, or this some kind of application or software is already available to solve that problem or not. Then you need to take action Okay, I have identified the problem, then I do the action and then look back whether what action you have did, whether you are really identify that problem, means providing solution to that problem or not. Okay, so the very first basic thing is finding the problem. Second stage is collection of information or gathering of information, and third, problem analysis. Okay, next, review literature. So it is again very important because most of time people are getting mistake in this review literature. As I already told you that you have to be specific while reading some articles. Okay, okay, so first is your methodology use, then level of program, then features, then challenges, and then scope of project. Okay, so first is your nothing but generalized, general specific. Okay, what is your broader idea of problem? Then topic background, which is supporting studies that we already did in background studies. Then this background will be of will giving you the highlight information about your scope and structure, that how you are going to solve that issue and how you are going to solve that problem and provide solution. Then narrower categories of the research means how you are going to provide the solution, okay, to that problem. Okay, and finally the categorize then studies which is closest to your research. So it means we know that there are different methodology or different techniques are already available. So out of that, which one is, we can say, innovative or which can be beneficial to solve this issue. Okay, then finally your hypothesis statement will be what problem you are going to identify. Then your problem specification. So it is very important that your problem must be a smart. So smart is nothing but as for your specific, your problem is must be a specific, not generalized. Then your problem must be the measurable. It means whether you are getting some kind of output in terms of values, in terms of yes or no, like this. Then achievable. Okay, so whatever problem you have identified, whether you are going to achieve it or not. Then you are realistic, your problem must be the realistic, not a hypothetical. And finally it must be a time bound. So whatever problem you have identified, that must be achievable in time bound. Okay, it not required exit of time, it must be get completed within time bound. Okay, so this is again very important. So for this problem specification, you must have to identify the problem, then problem statement, then what is your aim of problem, then objectives of problem, and what is your expected outcome. Okay, so aim is nothing but your basic aim of your project, like we need to provide solution for smart irrigation in agriculture sector. And objective is how you are going to achieve that aim. Most of time people are get confused in between objectives and they are written the statement generalized. Okay, so please do one thing, whenever we draft any aim, like I have told you that providing smart solution to the agriculture sector, the objective is how you are going to achieve it. Okay, not generalized statement, and every objective must be the measurable. So just like if I want to travel from one city to another city, okay, so this is my aim, for I have to go for one conference to this city. But how I am going to achieve it? What is my objective? First, I have to book my ticket. I have to pack my luggage. I have to take taxi to the destination or to the airport or any other transport site, and then I have to take that transport. Okay, so every objective is giving you the answer is yes or no or some kind of operation. So no general statement is allowed in objectives. And finally, the expected outcome. Expected outcome will be the same like we provided with the objective. Like I have to book ticket. So expected outcome is yes, I have booked ticket, so I can go for the next step. Likewise. Then tool analysis and requirements. So this is again basic things, that what is your basic requirement of your project, okay, and how you are going to solve this problem with kind of any different platform, different programming language selection, different things. Next, your scalable method and techniques. So in selection of adaptive techniques, adaptive means that can be used for providing some solution to that problem. Then divide your techniques into the subsections. So as I already told you, you can divide your main project into the several modules, and every modules can have the different techniques to solve. Then each section perform the scalable method to achieve outcome, whether what aim, objective and expected outcome we have defined, whether we have received it or not while applying this scalable method or technique. Okay, so that must be achieve your outcome. Then your algorithm. So for that said, you must have to study some algorithms, and based on that algorithms you can select any particular algorithm or some kind of integration of different algorithms, or you have your own algorithm to implement, and you can carry on your work. Finally, your debug system and the conclusion. So debug system and the conclusion means you are checking for your debug system whether there is any kind of error is present or not. If it is there, so you need to update that project and improvement in the system. And again the test cases for the module. Okay, so test case which consists again the white box testing, black box testing, or we can say the unit testing, control testing. Okay, just like if I'm entering username and password, so whether it accept username or password or not, whether my password is visible while entering into that text box or not. I have the validations if I forget to enter password and directly hit the sign in button. So each and every minute things you need to check for the debug, whether it having some kind of bugs or whether kind of error or whether kind of any error or problem is there. So you need to solve it and debug the systems. Okay, and finally your conclusion. Okay, so this is how you can have the different project. Okay, how to start your project from the starting point to the end point. Okay, so we have referred these basic things, that is background of study, how to do review literature, then problem specification, then tool analysis and the requirement, the mathematical model, so it is optional, then algorithm used, then selection of scalable techniques or methods, then model implementation, and finally the debug and system.